Major news coming out of Tyler Perry Studios as it pertains to Sistas. Y'all, Season 7 has a writer's room, and I have the writers who are going to be scripting one of our favorite shows. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis, Erica Vane, coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Sistas video. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button because your good sis, you let us talk TV with, keeps you in the know on everything that you want to know about your favorite television and films. In this video, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about the writers who will be taking over Sistas for Season 7. They are currently casting and will start filming at the end of this month, and we have not only the descriptions for the new characters that's going to be coming, and you know I got a video coming to tell y'all the characters, but I also have found who these writers are for each of these episodes, and I got a little bit of tea and information on them so that you can prepare yourself, right, for what we can expect. Now, Tyler Perry's Sistas Season 6 will premiere on May 31st, so it's going to be quite a while before we see the fruits of these writers' labor, right? Season 6 got to happen first, but I think it's really dope for us to have this information, to know well in advance and to know kind of like where we're going, because so many people have been rallying to have Tyler Perry hand over the reins of one of his most popular shows in Sistas, and it's really cool to see that now he is finally doing so. But before I talk to y'all about the writers, I'm gonna tell y'all who they are. I'm gonna show them they some bomb fly people, y'all. I was on the Instagram like, okay, can we be friends? Let's look at why Tyler Perry has been the sole writer for Sistas thus far, because he has taken to various podcasts and radio stations in the past to actually discuss it, because y'all, Tyler Perry be hearing us out. He might not respond directly to us in the DMs, but he be hearing us out when we be having conversations, and sometimes he'll address it. This is what he said about writing all of the scripts himself.
I did this post on New Year's, right after New Year's, showing all the scripts that I have written and all this stuff, and there's a few hundred that I've written for the year. Yeah. And I was getting all this hate and backlash. What is wrong with you? That's what's wrong with your stuff, because you write everything yourself. What? I'm just like, wow, where's all this hate come from? I was trying to motivate them by saying work ethic, inspire them, but it turned out to be another thing. So what'd you see when you saw it? What'd you see?
Well, I have always thought, even prior, you don't have to put a post for me to know that your work ethic is sparkling.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. I did see some folks concerned just about your self-care when this Tyler, catches balance. Yeah. But then also people wondering if that now takes away an opportunity for Black writers to collaborate and learn from you.
Well, let me tell you what this is. So the first thing that happened, this is about 10 years ago. I had a writer's room, and it was a really bad experience for me. They were turning in scripts that I had to pay for, repay for if they were bad, and I was just like, I'll just do it myself. And my ratings started to take a dip. So I just said, I'm going to write my own stuff. But listen, the Have and Have-Nots is still the #1 show on Tuesday nights. The Oval and Sistas is still the #1 show on BET. So somebody's loving my writing. So I'm going to focus on that. But as far as Tyler Perry Studios, there are other projects that we're working on, that there's going to be a showrunner, that there'll be other writers that are not what my audience is expecting from me. So yeah, there'll be other opportunities. But as far as self-care to go, no, I'm good. My whole season in 2 weeks. Most writers take, like, if they're going to go write a script or a movie, they get 6, 7, 8 months to go write it. I write these things in like 2 weeks because it's my head. All this stuff is in my head, and my audience loves it. So I've been doing this for 25 years. Yeah. I'm speaking directly to them. We speak a language, so I'm not going to change what I'm doing because people don't like that I write everything. So
that's interesting, because we had a conversation with Ed Gordon, who has a new book about,
he just gave it to me.
He gave you the book. Where's the book at?
One of Tyler's people stole it already.
Yeah, they already stole it.
But they put it in the car for me. Yeah, I didn't want to forget it.
But it's based on conversations that Black folks are having around leadership, politics, religion, or whatever the case may be. And your name came up because I thought you were a great representation of the change we see in Hollywood, but primarily because you made the change yourself. You know what I mean? You decided, I saw a quote where you said you didn't want to sit at the table. You decided to go to Atlanta and build your own table. Yeah. And then I asked him what was the consensus with all the people that he interviewed about you. And a lot of them still it was divided between creative and accomplishment. Yeah. Some folks still don't necessarily favor what you do creatively, but they love what you do as a businessman.
You know what it is? They don't get it.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. My mother, taught me very, very much about my blackness, right? She didn't want me to apologize for being black. She was raised in a Jim Crow South. You know, I got an uncle with ashy kneecaps, and we like watermelon. We like Popeye's chicken biscuits. We like, and people are like, oh my God, don't tell anybody like that. What are you saying to me? This is my experience. And all of these women that I grew up with who were having issues with their men, who were looking for love, who never got to worthy, who never understood themselves, subconsciously, I'm always talking to my mother, and I'm putting it in these simple little gift wraps so that when people see it, it's not something that's so complicated you got to go home and think about it. I want it in your face. I am particular and specific about what I'm doing because I know the people that I'm talking to that I grew up with. It ain't for everybody. And if you've been educated a certain way or if you come through a certain thing, God bless you. That ain't my experience. My experience is real straight up hood shit, right? That's where I come from. And I love that about me, and it's been those people who have put me in this position, who have built this studio, and I owe them to keep telling their stories because they are me. So I get it if you don't get my stuff. God bless you. I understand that. That's all. That's completely all right. But there's a lot of stuff I don't get, and I wish that people would stop trying to. The point of what I was saying is just that my mother taught me about that. And you have to understand that during a time when there was once a Black Wall Street during segregation, right before, where Black people supported other Black people. That's why I've been able to build all that I've been able to build, because of the support of us. I'm not going to change anything I'm doing because we get me. And if other people don't get it, it ain't for them, and that's okay. That's okay. I built a business being specific. You don't see Coke changing that formula because somebody likes Pepsi.
And as a creator myself, I really understand where he's coming from with this. While I also was of the camp of like, yo, it'd be dope if he had a writer's room, I can understand being overly protective of it because he is so very much so tapped into his audience. There are various points in time where certain things happen where I literally can readily identify and be like, okay, I'm not the target audience here. And it's because Tyler Perry is very, very specific and is all about servicing his audience, which is how he was able to build a 330-acre studio, first of its kind, state of the art, how he has been able to amass billions of dollars, and how he is able to, even with so much criticism on his work, his art, the stories that he wants to tell, he is still one of the forefront and major leaders in film and television. I also enjoyed what he had to say
my
here.
Audience is largely women, so my focus in my writing is women. It's like somebody who is selling pantyhose back in the day, right? Okay. You're not going to try to target men because your audience is women, right? So that's why my focus has been women, and because of my mother and all the things she went through, and my sisters. And if I could be a voice, and somebody could see a movie and their mothers are laughing and smiling, and they don't have to think about or be the little boy that I was looking up at my mother when she was going through all that hell. That's what was important to me. In that story, to write for a woman's point of view, to think about a woman, you have to come from emotion, and when I'm writing, that's what I'm thinking about, the emotion. Sure. And emotions are so much richer with women. Right on. Right, and it's harder to write a man for me because the emotions are much different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know, I always think that why is everything an indictment on us? Like,
that's true.
White people can tell any kind of story they want to. This is true. But the minute we tell a story, it's like the minute we tell a story about, and there's a person that's bad, it's like, oh, you're trying to make every Black person bad. No.
I don't think you were trying to make it. I'm just telling the particular story that was told. It was told so well that it left. And as a Black man, I'm like, damn, is niggas that bad? Is niggas really that bad?
There are some of them that are, man. There's some of them that are. Just like, but guess what? It's a white folk that's just absolutely
just the same. So, and I can take that.
Absolutely.
Now, again, it makes sense, and y'all are here to figure out who these new writers are taking over the ship in season 7, and you know I got you. So first up, we're going to talk about Mr. Jamie Giddings. Now, it's spelled wrong where I see the post-in for Jordan. Basically, he wrote the episode 1 of season 7, and it's spelled wrong on there, but I found him on IG, and he was a staff writer on NBC's Days of Our Lives. He's actually the creator of Ambitions, and while I never finished that series, a lot of people really, really love it, and I know it's in the same genre as Sistas, so clearly he qualified, right? He's definitely qualified. I am looking forward to this premiere episode of season 7, and I am going to be tuning in in to see if we notice that much of a difference, right? Once we leave season 6 and go into season 7 and we have these new writers versus Tyler writing every episode up and through the end of season 6, I cannot wait to see. I personally want to believe that Jamie might wind up being the showrunner for the series moving forward, because typically the showrunners or the person, the lead writer, the head executive in the room who's guiding the stories are typically the ones who write the first episode of the season and the last episode of the season. But that is something that I cannot actually confirm. All I can confirm is that Jamie is now a part of this writer's room, and it is my belief that he is the showrunner for Sistas moving forward. Now, before I get into another writer who is confirmed, I do want to take a quick second and talk about somebody who's not actually confirmed to be attached to this. However, it was announced that Denise Davis, who is a co-creator of Color Creative, which is Issa Rae's company, she came up with Issa creating things like Awkward Black Girl. It was announced a while ago that her company inked a development deal with Tyler Perry Studios. So when I first started to hear the buzz about Tyler introducing additional writers and new people into the writer's room and taking over scripts that he typically had wrote himself, I instantly thought of Denise. Now, again, she's not tied to any of his original shows. The development deal is basically for her to develop her own shows under Tyler Perry Studios, under Tyler Perry's namesake, and Tyler Perry will probably just be the executive producer. However, based off of Insecure, based off of based off of Black Lady Sketch Show, even, like, not, I know this is not a sketch show, but based on the things that Denise has been a part of, I think it would be super dope if she had some kind of opinion, hand in, or support of Sistas, being a Black woman herself and being able to tell our stories so beautifully in the past. Like, she has a bomb ass track record. So shout out to Denise Davis. Cannot wait to see the shows and the films that she's producing in conjunction with Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Studios. Again, she is not a confirmed writer or anything. I just wanted to make a note because that was a highly publicized announcement, and it's a big deal. But back to the confirmed writers. The next up is Miss Courtney Richards. And y'all, when I first saw Jamie, I was like, okay, cool. You wrote Ambitions. That's cool. But we gonna need a Black woman in the room. Come on, Miss Courtney. Push through. Like, she's here. And I'm totally here for it. Mama is giving all types of cute on her IG. Seen here in the picture with Marsai Martin. She's clearly been in the industry. She's been a part of Raven's Home and A Gospel Christmas, which is a film. And then also some kids shows, specifically, I think, tied to either Nickelodeon or Disney. And I'm excited for what she's finna cook up. She is definitely a confirmed person in the writer's room. And she currently, this is not all the episodes of the season, but she is currently a part of, or wrote episode 7, which is titled It's Given Scandal. She also wrote episode 2, which is titled Drunken Love. So far we know that she has written 2 episodes of season 7 of Tyler Perry's Sistas. And again, I am going to be breaking down the characters that they are actually auditioning people for right now, so we can get a good idea of where the storyline goes. And I can tell y'all, based off of, what's in it and the character description, what Miss Courtney got set up for us to happen, or at least an outline in her particular episodes. After that person is Maggie Bush. And honestly, as I was going through the postings, I was like, yo, I am so glad to see not only is there 1 new writer, 2 new writers, 3, there are literally 4 or 5 people within this writer's room. And this is not even all the episodes. We get 22 episodes of Sistas each season. I only have, I think, up through episodes 10, maybe. So I don't even have all the information, but we have quite a bit. Like, Tyler Perry really put together a full-on writer's room. Next up is Maggie Bush, who has been working with Tyler Perry Studios for a little bit. And she has been tied to a show that's on, or it might be a film that's on Tubi, and it's called In the Cut. In addition to being a writer, she's also a director, she's a producer, and she's an actress. So she's a little bit well-rounded child and knee-deep in this storytelling thing. I love that for us. And she's, again, one of the writers in this writer's room. She is going to be responsible for episode 6, which is titled Pretty Hurts. And then I think she also has another one. Yes, episode 10 is titled The Good Fight. Maggie wrote both of those episodes. And then We got Richard Wilson, who coins himself as a poet, screenwriter, and creative. This is one of the few people who are coming over into Tyler Perry Studios and Tyler Perry Sistas from David Makes Man. And I have heard nothing but amazing things about that show. I have not watched it. It was executive produced by Michael B. Jordan, and I am going to go back and watch it. I know that it's no longer in production, but Richard Wilson was a writer on David Makes Man, and Richard wrote for season 7. He was a co-writer on episode 8 titled Pins and Needles, and a co-writer on episode 3 titled Grand Openings and Grand Closings. And then next up is another co-writer. So it looks like Richard and Lucien, I hope I pronounced it right, but I might not have, co-wrote those episodes. So episode 3 and episode number 8 were both co-written by Richard and Lucien. And Lucien Christian is a screenwriter, actor, and also a poet, also coming from David Makes Man, which was an own television series. And last but not least is April A.P. Powell, who I wasn't able to find her Instagram, but on her LinkedIn, it shows that she has written an episode of Tyler Perry's House of Pain, and she's been working with Tyler Perry for at least the last 5 years, but been a creative executive or writer for the last 2 years. So I'm guessing that she's coming over just from House of Pain and going to be able to just add a little bit of flavor into the Sistas universe. And April actually wrote episode number 5 titled Hanging in the Balance. And there you have it, y'all. That is all the tea I have right now on the new writer's room that is taking the lead when it comes to Tyler Perry's hit series, Sistas. Y'all asked for it. He delivered, and he delivered a really dope bunch. Drop down in the comment section and let me know how you feeling about these new writers and what you expect to come down the pipe in season 7. It's your good sis you love to talk TV with. If you're new here, hit subscribe so that you can join the tribe and you don't miss out on any of my other Sistas conversations. And be sure to like this video because you made it all the way to the end, so I know that you liked it. Now that you know the writers, let's talk about all of the new characters that are coming to season 7. Click this video right here to see.